Good morning, guys. This is Hank. It is February the 4th, 0004. You guys, you will not believe I just had the wildest dream ever. I was dreaming that I was in New York City and that I had a shop and I was outside picking up garbage and stuff. I think the shop may have been in Harlem if I think, and it was really weird, but all along the front of the building and even down the street, there was just some stuff, and I was picking it up. And at one point, this group of kids came by, and it's sort of weird. They put me in the mind of my students at the Christian Academy that I used to teach at for 10 years, and they had I don't know. I guess they got into a little skirmish or whatever with some other guys or whatever, and I sort of happened to be in the middle of it, and then it sort of broke up, uh, and then passed me by. I just remember that seeing that happening, and then I'm still picking up garbage, and I was further down toward the corner, and the last big, there was like a box or whatever, and it was just sitting there, and it had some stuff in it. So I remember grabbing the box, and I started to drag it over to this trash can. It was really strange because the trash can looked big and round and cement and seemed like it was built into the ground or whatever. And I was like, I was gonna put it in there, but I sort of realized that wasn't a trash can or whatever. Then I saw a trash can, and now they have those iron look like little gates, and then the trash thing is in it. If you've ever been to New York, so I put it in there, and so I'm walking back down the street toward where my shop was at, and I hadn't made it all the way yet, and I heard from behind me, "Give me your motherfucking money," and then I turned back and I couldn't see it. It was just around the corner where I just drug that box from. So that was the corner, and uh, I heard, bam, I heard a gunshot, and I was like, whoa, and I turned around, and it was this guy, and he had on like this green long jacket, like that went down to like above his ankles or whatever, and I think it was a black guy. And then there was some crazy shooting, and then all of a sudden there was a whole bunch of them, and I just turned to the left, and there was like this restaurant, and I remember running into the restaurant, and I ran all the way through where everybody was sitting in the dining area, all the way to the back, and I guess it was like a private party room. It was a really nice place, and it was filled with people. There were women that I saw, and after I burst through and slammed the door and was running toward the back door, I noticed there was a celebrity sitting there. I think it was that girl, Keisha Paulman, the one that played on Cosby's, but she was all grown up, and everyone's dressed up, and they all stood up and they were like, "How dare you?" And I was like, "You guys, listen, there's a man out there shooting, and then they can hear the gunshots." I said, "Y'all need to stay put. I'm gonna peek around. I'm gonna go through the back, through the alley, and go around and see what the heaven is going on, to see if the police have come, if they're apprehending them or whatever." And so as I opened up the doors in the back alley or whatever, one of the girls came out and took off to the left. I remember she had on this beautiful dress, like, and she was gone. And then some other guy come running down the alley past her. And so I came around and I went to the right. And I remember going down the alley a bit, and then there was like I could see this little dog there, a little black and white dog, and he was in front of this door with a light on it. And then to the right, I thought the dog was going to bite me, but when I came upon him, I wasn't afraid of him or anything. He actually wagged his tail, and I rubbed his head, and I looked down the alley toward the front of the street or whatever. It was like in between the buildings or whatever, and you can see people screaming, and the shooting was going on. I mean, it was really, really crazy. And then you know how dreams are. Before you know it, I was up on the top of like the stairs. The stairs like a what do you call it? Like a fire escape. And I was up top, and people, I mean, they were running and screaming, and the shooting was everywhere. And so I came There was you know, like a trash chute where you throw your garbage down and it goes all the way down and it lands inside the big containers, you know. Uh, there was one there, and I mean, I jumped in it and all the way down, but it didn't break through into the giant trash container, and it was made of canvas. And I remember just getting there, and I mean, I was way high up too, and I would sort of somehow had either stacked trash bags on myself or something, so you couldn't see me. I was down there in it, and and all of a sudden, in my mind's eye, I can see a group of girls, these white girls, and they were all just panicked or whatever. And I think they saw what I did. I thought they decided to jump down in the chute as well, but I thought it was my chute, and I was just waiting for them to crash on my head, but they didn't. So it was really weird because I could sort of like I could see it in my mind's eye, and they went down. And then here comes this guy, this white guy. He came up behind them, and because they were down there, they were screaming and making noise. I know in my head, I was like, y'all need to shut up because they're going to hear you. And it's like, are you crazy? And this guy had this little orange device. It looks like it was a little bomb because he turned it like a little clicker, click, 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 click. He dropped it down the chute on the girls. And, you know, in a few seconds, there was an explosion. Bam. And it was like, he just killed every last one of them. And I was like, whoa. And I was really freaking out. And then another guy came by and he looked down mine, and I could still see this in my mind's eye. And he pulled out a gun and he faced it down into there like he was going to shoot me. And then all of a sudden, from behind him, I seen these lights over his head. And it was like the lights, like if you're laying on a surgery table and you see those four square lights like that. And there was these ministers. There was these black guys with these robes on. I thought of Louis Farrakhan had flashed through my head, but they were like, in the name of Jesus, and boom, they put this thing on him, and I mean, it shocked the living. I mean, he dropped the gun and he dropped, and I was like, whoa. This whole thing went on for a really long time, and I just stayed down there in the bottom. It would seem like for hours, and then all of a sudden, it sort of got quiet, and it was really quiet, and I don't know, the pressure changed inside that chute, and bloom, and I fell out onto the ground, blam, blam, like that, and there was no garbage can there, you know, and I started to get up to run, and I heard like, you know, gun cocks like that or whatever. And someone says he was just hiding in the garbage chute or whatever. But these were the neighbors. They had pulled out their guns, and I guess that whoever those guys were, if they were coming in that alley or whatever, they were going to get it or what have you, because they realized that nobody shot or whatever. And then I realized I didn't have my shoes on, so I went back over to the chute. I was just a few feet away from it, and I put on. I saw one shoe and I put it on. I saw another shoe and I put it on, and then what was really strange because I started off, I was just cleaning up stuff. I had all my phone was in there, like the phone that I'm literally taping this with, and my bag was in there, which is really strange. My bag for school, and it had my computer in it. I was like, well, I wasn't picking up trash with that thing on with me, but you know how dreams are. I just had it with me, and so I reached in and I pulled that down, and I had this sandwich. And then that little dog came up to me, the little dog that I saw in the alley, and he was with another dog. And I took the sandwich, and they were, you know, like licking me, and they were all excited or whatever that I survived or whatever. And I tore the sandwich in half and gave half to the one dog, and the other dog that came with him. And then I gave him the other half, but he was like, he snatched it so fast, sort of like my Rottweiler, you know, like their the last meal they've ever had. And he snatched it up really fast, and it was wild, man. That's how it ended with those dogs sitting there, and that was the wildest dream I ever had. You know, the wild part while it was going on, I knew I was dreaming, but at the same time, I didn't because I didn't normally when stuff like that happens, I just take off and fly. But with this dream, I was just trying to survive. You know what I mean? And I listened to a channeling one day, or maybe it was in the QHHT session, and it said that when the bad dreams stop, that's when you know the shift will have happened. So obviously the shift hadn't happened at that point or whatever. That the shift is always on my mind, guys. That was really wild, wildest one yet. All right, guys. Thank you very much for listening. I do appreciate it. Oh yeah. Say good morning, God. Good morning. Love and light. Namaste.